Hi everyone, welcome to my reading journal plan with me for January. So right now I have a bit of a cold, so if my voice sounds a little bit weird, that's why, and I'm gonna try really hard not to sniffle my way through this entire voiceover. So this is my first monthly spread of the year, and for the monthly spreads I like to do a cover page. So this month I had two ideas for themes. The first idea that I had was to do an all black background and then put gold crescent moons on it. And then I thought that might be too plain, and I also kind of wanted to have a fox theme. So I decided to just kind of combine the two. I also really wanted to do a fox theme for January because I kind of associate foxes with January. There was one year, a few years ago, where every day for the first 4 or 5 days of the year, in January, I saw a fox every single day, which there are sometimes foxes that live around me, but I usually see them a couple of times a month, not like every day for like 4 or 5 days in a row. So just, I don't know, it was one of those moments where it's like, it feels like a sign of what? I don't know. But now I just kind of associate foxes with January. So you can see that right here I'm starting to do the black background. So I'm using actually black ink instead of paint. Recently I've been into using inks instead of paints, just because I like the way they look on the paper better, because they kind of sink in more and look like they're part of it instead of sitting on top the way a lot of paints do. Although this experiment went a little bit wrong. This ink didn't quite behave the way I was expecting it to, and the way like other inks that I've used have behaved, so I had a couple of problems with it. I also can see just left some fingerprints on the paper, and that kept happening to me because I kept getting ink all over myself. So while I'm letting that dry, I started drawing in my little fox. So I had like a sketch that I had put in there to kind of get me started with drawing the fox, and I'll link below some of the images that I used for inspiration for drawing this fox. I had to kind of figure out parts of it on my own, like how to do the angle of the head, because I couldn't find any pictures of foxes looking up, or like from the angle that I wanted, because all of them are from either like a 3/4 or profile angle, and I wanted it like straight on. Anyways, but I still had some reference pictures, so I'll link those below. So here I'm just testing out different ways of making circles for the crescent moons, or the moon phases that I wanted to do. I decided to go with this little compass, which I've never used before. Like, I used it, years ago when I took geometry, but I haven't used it for my reading journal, even though I've had it for like a year, but I've decided to finally use it. My circles still ended up being a little bit wonky looking, because it was kind of hard to see the pencil marks on the black, but I think it definitely helped make them at least all similar sizes. I also learned that these jelly roll pens are not great for like filling in large areas. I really like them for, lettering and like small details, and especially for adding like little stars and things like that, but it just did not work super well for filling in these moons. I had a lot of technical difficulties with this cover page, and you can see here I finally learned my lesson from getting fingerprints all over everything, because I started using a little piece of paper to rest my hand on. So here I'm testing out how I want to write out the quote that I'm going to put on my cover page. I like to put a quote on the cover page every month, and I usually do a mix of print and cursive, and so I usually like to practice kind of which words I want to make print, which ones I want them to be cursive, and how it's going to look. And it's a little tough to see what the quote says, because it just didn't show up really well on the paper, but also right now it's reflecting the light. But the quote says, "All wisdom is here, ready to burn, but a question remains, there's something to learn." And here's a little pan of what it all looks like. I really like the way the fox turned out. I think it's very cute, and I'm glad that the angle worked out. I've actually never really drawn a fox before, so also glad that turned out well because of that. So I set that aside to dry, and while it dries, I'm going to do the rest of the bullet journal and set up all of my spreads for the month. The first one that I'm doing here is the calendar. I like to fill up the whole page as much as I can with the calendar, just to get a lot of space in those boxes. Sometimes I decorate the calendar more, but this time I decided to leave it relatively simple. I'm just doing the name of the month at the top, and then I do a little doodle in the bottom corner. I've been working on my hand lettering and trying to get this font down. It's still not perfect, but I actually think I've been making some good progress with it, and I like how the lettering turned out overall. Although I would like to also learn some other fonts and things. I'm adding a little crescent moon here. And I decided to put a little fox, a very minimalist fox, in the corner at the bottom. And this one is at a more traditional fox angle because it's a profile, it's looking off to the side. Now I'm starting my TBR page for the month, and I'm doing another little fox silhouette here. And this silhouette, I also had inspiration. I think I saw a tattoo that had this fox silhouette that I copied. So if I can find that picture again, I will link that below. And now I'm setting up my reading log for the month, where I'll just put in all of the books as I read them, and I have columns for the title of the book, the date that I read it, or the date that I finished it, and the rating that I have for it. And I'm just kind of pre-setting up, writing out the dates, and then I'm putting in little stars, which I can fill in when I have a rating for the book. And now I'm on to my haul page, so this is where I will be writing books that I buy throughout the month. And I'm just doing little moon phases doodle, although I really messed up these moon phases. One of the 3/4 moons is facing the wrong direction. One of the crescent moons looks like a 3/4 moon. It did not go well with that doodle. And then for this page, I hadn't really planned it out that much, and I kind of last minute decided that I wanted it to be fox themed, so I put little fox ears on the word. And this is my videos page, where I'm just writing out my schedule of videos for the month. And this month is really busy. I don't usually put out quite so many, but with the end of the year, beginning of the year stuff, and then also wanting to do some of my regular content, I am trying to post about 4 times a week. Which is a lot for me. I usually do 2 to 3 times a week, so hopefully I can keep it up throughout the whole month. And then I'm just filling in some of the videos that I have already posted, and then later on I'll fill in some of the other videos for the rest of the month. And then this page is something new for me, that is, I wanted to make a page for my favorite book of the month. Just to keep track of it. I haven't done this before, so I wasn't really sure how to set it up, so this page may change in the future since I've never used it before, so we'll see how it goes this month. And this is where I decided I wanted to add some gold detail to all of the pages, to have this gold line throughout them all, so that they would have at least a little more consistency. And this next page is another one that is new for me this year, that I wanted to make a reviews section. Usually I just keep notes in the back of the book that I'm reading, and then I make a review video, but I thought it might be nice to actually have some notes in my reading journal as well. And I added some black crescent moons here, which ended up looking more like eyes, so now it's going to look like my reviews page is staring at me. And now I'm finally going to glue in my cover page, which has dried at this point, and I'm going to put in these little corner tabs to keep the corners down, because it is always almost impossible to get the corners glued properly. And here we go, the final flip through of my January reading journal. I really like how this cover page turned out. It gave me a lot of trouble while I was trying to make it because the ink just was not cooperating with me, but overall I really like it. And I really like the little fox silhouettes on the calendar page and the TBR page. I think they're really cute. The reading log doesn't have a lot going on, so I kind of wish I'd done something more fun there, but that's okay. I do also like the haul and the videos pages, but I think the TBR one with the little fox is my favorite. And I'm really interested to see how the favorite book of the month spread and the reviews spread goes, because as I said, those are new for me and I haven't used them before, so we're going to see if it works out and if it's something I want to keep doing throughout the year. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye!